All right, yo, let's get it popping. A lot of you niggas online are giving these hoes more power than they truly deserve. Y'all have done that for the past 6, 7 years. Males on social media have given females more power than they truly deserve. A lot of males on social media don't realize how they made a lot of female content creators extremely popular. They don't realize that even the female content creators that a lot of you males claim to hate, y'all basically are the main reasons why today they've become very popular. You it's like the thing is that I don't know if a lot of you males online realize that the more you speak about females, the more you guys complain and grift about toxic females, right? The more you guys online make these 9 to 10 hour streams where for the most part you're complaining about the ills of toxic females, the more you're giving them attention, the more relevant you're making them. Thus, you're putting them in the pedestal. You know, and what kills me is this whole concept where, and I brought this up about 4 years ago when I used to fuck with Reg the Bad Guy, right? I was on this channel 4 years ago and I told males, I told males online, I said, listen, stop trying to make yourself look appealing to no good females. I mean, the moment you have males on the internet talking about what they need to do in order for them to look attractive to a demographic of females who are not of high quality, the moment you got a whole group of males who try to, who try to mold themselves and try to adopt a certain type of personality trait or a demeanor or a certain type of style or what we now call swag in order to attract the same demographic of females that we complain about, dude, you've put them you've officially have put them in a fucking pedestal. All right. And thus you're giving them more power than they truly deserve. What's going on, Shaw Willie? What's up? What's up? A lot of males online just don't get it. I mean, well, not now, but this has been happening for a while, where the female gender is now seen as the new boogeyman. You know, back in the day, on social media, when you have a lot of pro blacks that was dominating, black social media, then they was putting this Caucasian guy as the boogeyman, to so-called black people, saying that it doesn't matter what you do as a so-called black person, doesn't matter how much you try to improve your life as a so-called black person, this Caucasian guy will always trying to stop you. Doesn't matter what you do. If you go out and buy a slice of pizza, the white man won't let you. He'll stop you. It's this, these pro blacks was giving Caucasians more power than they truly have. And I see this is the case when it comes to males on the internet and putting females as this new boogeyman. And to further break this down, I'm hearing what I've heard for the past few years, males complaining about how, oh yeah, females, they're your enemy. The female gender is competing with the male gender. The female gender is trying to take everything away from males. Females are trying to take away males' freedom. Females are trying to take away males' freedom of choice. The female gender. I've heard this. I've heard these arguments coming from these males on the internet. How they complain about how the female gender is trying to take away the liberty of the male gender. That the female gender is trying to destroy the male gender. And When I hear that, when I hear people say that shit, right? Now, don't get me wrong. To a degree, I understand what they're talking about, what they're trying to say. But at the end of the day, I in the back of my head, when I hear these comments, I always ask the question. I always, ask this question to myself. I'm like, okay, have these motherfuckers done any reading? Have these motherfuckers done any legitimate research when it comes to law, when it comes to the history of American law? And how you're talking about how all these females are trying to take this and that away from you. But yet, these same motherfuckers who argue this point never mention the male politicians who actually sit down and create such laws that over time kept males to a degree disenfranchised in places of in places of places of places of employment, places of entertainment, and what have you. Yeah, pro-blacks were shaming, blaming, and explaining. Yeah, they was doing that. They was doing that years ago. They was doing that years ago. All of a sudden, I see males doing the same thing. They put females in this position as this boogeyman that will always trying to stop the male gender from doing anything productive in life. That the male gender is trying to, the male gender, excuse me, that the female gender will always try to stop the male gender no matter what he tries to do in life. And these are the types of dumbass arguments that I'm hearing. And the thing is, once again, when I hear these arguments, I wonder if these motherfuckers ever done any real research and real reading about this type of stuff that they talk about, especially when they talk about feminism, right? And then what I also say to myself is that, okay, is that, goddamn, I forgot what I was going to say. Goddamn, I was going to make this damn strong point, but that shit left my memory bank. Shit, goddamn. Anyhow, right? Yeah. And shit, well, what kills me is when you have a lot of males on social media who constantly go back and forth with certain females on here, who constantly make these videos to certain female content creators on here, to the point of the fact that they end up making these female content creators very popular. Or hold on, let me rephrase that. A lot of males online would constantly troll and argue and go back and forth with certain female content creators to the point of the fact that they help increase the fame of some of these female content creators online. And when I told niggas this shit 4 years ago, nobody listened to me. Nobody listened to me. But time proved that I was correct. For example, your boy, or excuse me, your mama Cynthia, the mother of the Black Manosphere, right? I officially label Cynthia G as the mother of Black Manosphere 2.0. I told people back in 2018 to stop making videos, stop going back and forth and making these video responses to Cynthia G, because all you're doing when you're doing so, all you're doing is making her more popular. And if you guys really can't stand her, if you guys really hate her guts, as you guys claim, the biggest way to destroy her ass is to not make that bitch relevant whatsoever. I told people this 4 years ago. And I told people this 4 years ago, is that the more you make these videos talking about her, the more you invite her to your little Sunday rumbles and get all the other guys to try to debate her and try to explain to her about black males and why she shouldn't hate the so-called black males. The more you do that, the more you make her popular. You guys haven't you guys haven't realized that what Cynthia G has done to give her more popularity on social media. What's going on, Toya? What's going on? Degenerate, what's going on? What a lot of these dumbass males don't realize about Cynthia G is that what okay, the tactic that she used to make herself more popular on social media was the same tactic that Tommy Sotomayor used to make himself more popular on social media. And that's to make statements that would provoke other people to make response videos to them. Thus, these other people who are making response videos to them will actually bring more publicity to that person's name. That's all Cynthia G needed to do in order to increase her popularity. Just make videos and make statements that would provoke male content creators to the point of the fact that they'll make response videos, thus giving her more publicity as they mention her name and spread her name out to other people. And now Cynthia G is to a point where she's so goddamn popular that she's invited to speak on bigger panels such as Fox Soul and what have you. You know, and you guys are doing that with other female content creators right now, with Melly Monaco, Melanie King. What's this other chick name? Kendra G. I don't mean Kendra D. I think the other one, Kendra G, and all this other bullshit. You've given female content creators such as Cynthia G more fame, more popularity, and more power online than she really deserves. You guys, okay, I've been just reading comments. That's why I was quiet a little bit. I was reading comments. Degenerate says something interesting. Let me highlight what Degenerate Sharon said. Degenerate said, funny thing is, she was on the ultra scientific pro black extremist days back in like 2016, and the Mansfield wasn't really against her like that. Yeah, yeah. But when Cynthia G, I don't think a lot of the people in the Mansfield knew her like that. When Cynthia G was on her, ultra fake pro black stance, I don't think a lot of people in the Mansfield knew her like that. I think it was after when she got her account, suspended, and she came back with the new account talking that bullshit. That's when more and more people in the space knew who she was. And the thing is that when Cynthia G, rebranded herself with her new channel and started dedicating her content and talking about black males and the shortcoming of black males and what have you, it's like you had so many males on the internet who was trying so hard to try to convince her to change her way of thinking, and that black males are not what she think, or are not the type of incompetent males that she claimed black males are. And even back then, back in 2017, 2018, I'm sitting back, I'm like, why do you give a shit about what the fuck she thinks about black males? Why do you black males give a shit? Why do y'all give a shit? I mean, she was going on different panels, and you had all these so-called black males, coming up on the panel, want to debate with her about why she's wrong about what she says about black males, and try to, prove themselves that, oh yeah, I'm not like that. I'm not like that. They try to prove themselves to Cynthia G on how much they're not the dusty beta male coons that Cynthia G think they are, and that they, it's stupid. It's yo. But when it comes to all that attention that so-called black males online gave to Cynthia G, it increased her popularity so much to the point of the fact that now she's more popular than almost any of your biggest names in the so-called black manosphere. It's to a point where, when you have people like O'Shea Puke Jackson inviting her on his panels every Sunday for so other males could debate with her, right? Not knowing what it did, not knowing that it would only prop up her popularity. That's all it did. And now we fast forward to 2022, and she's more popular than almost all of the big names that you could think of in the so-called black manosphere. Y'all gave this bitch all that power. Well, power online, I mean, because she don't have power in the real life. In the real world, she don't have power like that. But y'all gave this bitch power over you like that. That was Cynthia G's whole strategy in order to gain popularity on social media, is to provoke you dumb niggas to respond to her. Thus, you guys will actually mention her name towards your own subscribers, so your own subscribers would hear of who she is and may subscribe to her. Or they might end up making a response video of their own towards her, thus spreading her name even more. This is really how Tommy Sotomayor became popular too. And you guys just don't understand that. And I saw that shit from the jump. The moment Cynthia G changed her whole style and went from critiquing so-called white supremacists to then critiquing so-called black males. I saw that from the jump, and I told motherfuckers the best way to destroy her is to stop responding to her. Stop responding to her. And another way, and another way, really another way to destroy Cynthia G, right? And people like her, those of her ilk, another way to destroy them is if so-called black males was on their purpose from day one and actually organize together and become a and engage in political activism and help change these laws out in the real world that keeps males, especially black males, in a state of being disenfranchised. So therefore, when that bitch that bitch would ask, "What are you black men doing?" Back in the day, she always loved to ask, "What are you so-called black males doing to help improve society?" Well, guess what? If we in the manosphere was on our purpose and actually organized together to really help improve the state of males within the system, guess what? That would have debunked and destroyed her whole argument. Because now there would be proof of oh, look at these black males right here doing this for the community. Look at these black males here doing this for black boys. Look at these black males here doing engaging in this activism to help these young men in the inner city. It would have destroyed her whole fucking. It would have destroyed her whole stereotypical, nonsensical arguments that she would have of so-called black males, and she would have been destroyed. But what a lot of you niggas choose to do is just continue to make video response after video response towards those of her ilk, thinking that doing these things is actually thinking that you actually accomplishing something when you're not accomplishing shit. Exactly, D-Ski Valley. Exactly. Exactly. D-Ski Valley says that's because these brothers, and I use that term brother when very loosely when mentioning these motherfuckers, didn't give a fuck about the men in the space. They wanted lit shows for money. They want to organize our money in their pockets. That's it. Yeah. Yeah. And D-Ski Valley continues says they don't want to support the brothers in the community. They want support off YouTube platforms. Yeah. 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 And you know what? This may be a little bit off topic, but to respond to what D-Ski Valley says, once D-Ski Valley made those two comments, something popped in my head, right? In which it's funny how for years certain black male content creators in this space in the space speak about how they're not about helping the collective. They're about that they claim to advocate the advancement of the individual. They themselves even claim that they're not a part of the black collective, that they are individuals and never was and never will be part of the so-called black collective. Yet, the moment these same black male content creators ask for donations, then they start preaching about the collective. I mean, I've literally heard Obsidian make the comment about how he's not a member of the black collective, how he has no intention of helping so-called black people, that he's an entertainer, he's on here for money, he's not part of the so-called black collective, he's an individual. But at the same time, when he would ask for donations, he would say, well, support black male media. Support black male media. Hold on for a minute. What black male media? Nigga, you claim to not be for the collective. If you have intentions of making black male media, doesn't that consist of making media for the black male collective that you claim to not be a part of? Now you're using the term black and black males and support this. Now you want people to think on a collective level when it comes to donating money to your channel. But outside of that, you claim to not be part of the collective. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't have a problem with those who claim to not be part of the collective. If people want to remain as this hyper individuals, if people want to be hyper individualistic, fine. That's their business. But my issue is when people contradict themselves. Because on one end, these same motherfuckers will claim to be hyper individuals, right? They would proclaim this hyper individualistic nonsense. But then when they want money, then they start preaching about collectivism, talking about support black male media. Come on, brothers, support black male media. Support black male media. Support you. Nah, no, nigga. Take that black male media shit out your fucking mouth. Since you claim to be a hyper individual. Fuck out of here, man. Right, Alonzo Hall, right. The community is suddenly the community when super chats come to play. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Mama Cynthia. Shout out to Degenerate Sharingan. By the way, when you hear me use the term Mama Cynthia, I got it from Degenerate Sharingan. He's the one that came up with that phrase, Mama Cynthia, because he's the mama of so-called Black Manosphere 2.0. That's your mama right there. Because a lot of content creators in the so-called Black Manosphere 2.0 pedestalize her as if she's their mama. That's the mother of Black Manosphere 2.0, Mama Cynthia. All right. But yeah. But now, you got these younger guys that's coming into the space now, right? These younger guys who it seems as if to me that they've been watching certain content creators online for a couple of years. So thus these young guys have adopted some of these content creators' beliefs. Now you got these younger individuals who actually think that the solution to help males all across the Western world when it comes to them being when it comes to them not being disenfranchised. Shit, I'm sitting there reading all these comments and stuff. Hold on, I was sitting there reading all these comments. Yeah, he's the master flip flop, all right. Yeah, yeah. All right, so okay, what I was gonna say. Okay, now you got a generation of younger people that's coming in to these spaces online and who think that the solution that's going to help the male gender in the Western Hemisphere get out of being disenfranchised is to take away the rights of females, right? I mean, don't get it twisted. You've had males that was preaching that bullshit for a few years now, right? But now you got these younger males who's coming in here now and who actually are serious about removing think that they could actually succeed when it comes to removing the rights of females in the society, which that's never going to happen. That's never going. That is, realistically, that will never happen. As a matter of fact, listen. As a matter of fact, anyone who advocates removing the rights of another person and who utilize that as a solution to help another group of people is fucking crazy. All right, something's wrong with you. If you believe that removing the rights of one group of people is a solution to help another group of people overcome whichever systematic issues that they have, you're fucking crazy. All right? Something's wrong with you. You even have these younger generation of guys who's coming into these spaces and who actually think that trolling other females that trolling female content creators is a good idea. That it's a good idea to go to these female content creators and do whatever type of nonsense in order to gain some sort of attention. This shit is fucking stupid. And the thing is that the more you troll another content creator, the more you make that content creator more popular. You do know that, right? Because what do trolls do? Trolls love to antagonize, right? Trolls, for the most part, on the internet, they love to antagonize people. They love to start conflict on the internet with people, right? And the thing is that conflict sells. It's been proven that, especially on here on the internet, that drama increases viewership, especially on YouTube. So if a person decides to go to the pages or the panels of any content creator and troll and start some sort of drama or hostility, what they're going to do over time is increase the popularity of that content creator. Thus, if you think it's a good idea to troll female content creators, you haven't been wise enough to see that all you're doing is making that female content creator more popular. Thus you're going to give them more power online than they truly deserve. You got, a lot of you males online have given females more power than they truly deserve. And it's bad enough that you have this unbalance of power in society between males and females. But when you go on the internet and listen to the statements of a lot of these males, the fucking unbalance of power is on steroids, man. You know, you, and like I said before, eh, like I said before, a lot of these female content creators have become very popular because a lot of you males online. You guys. Once again, I'm gonna bring up the whole boogeyman thing, where now a lot of you males, especially so-called black males, have placed the female gender as the new boogeyman that's haunting the male gender. A lot of males online are creating these arguments or have created these arguments about how the female gender will always keep the male gender disenfranchised, right? How the female gender it doesn't matter what the male gender try to do, the female gender will always try to take whatever thing away from them. I mean, I've heard somebody said on the panel that the female gender is trying to take jobs away from males. That the female gender, excuse me, that the female gender is trying to take jobs away from males, that the female gender is trying to take away that male's family, that the female gender is trying to take away all these things from males. And then, when motherfuckers make these arguments, I'm sorry to repeat myself because I've made this argument earlier in this live stream, but I'm going to say it again because, like I always say, repetition is the mother of knowledge, right? It's imperative to keep repeating the same point because a lot of people have bad short-term memory and easily forget shit. Therefore, you must repeat the same thing over and over again so it could be lodged inside of the memory of a lot of people, right? So back to my point that I was making, right? I heard this argument about talking about how a female is trying to take all these things away from the male, but yet they refuse to acknowledge the predominantly male congressmen, whether local, state, or federal, who have put these laws and policies into effect that cause males to actually lose a little bit more of their constitutional freedom. Like motherfuckers on here, they keep looking at the pawn in the chess table, right? It's like, okay, it's like the way motherfuckers are on here. It's like when they play a game of chess. You know, they view the chess pieces as the opponents instead of the actual chess player moving them chess pieces as the opponent. Which is why males only will blindly say that females are their opponents, right? Which is why, yeah, when you say that, what you're doing is that you're looking at the actual pawns in the chess table and not looking at the chess player that's moving the pawns as your opponent. And that's what these niggas doing when they complaining about females trying to take their jobs, females trying to take all these opportunities away from them. You know, they're acting as if females are working alone. They're acting as if there isn't any males in power that's actually writing these laws for so males could, have less and less opportunity in the society. So females just automatically created laws concerning alimony, right? It was females who created that law, right? Come on. It was females who actually wrote these laws and made them policies, right? Across these different states, right? Come on. The fuck out of here, man. There wasn't no male politician in a position of power who actually agreed to make these policies into actual law, right? You mean to tell me there were no male politicians in the position of power that actually provided more and more educational opportunities for females? And not only that, are you saying that it was not male politicians who are in the position of power or who were in the position of power who actually made it possible for so the public education system could cater to females more and more, to the point of the fact that that same public education system abandoned most of its boys, right? And abandoned most of its male students, to the point of the fact that now female students in American public schools on average are performing way better than male students. And it's not because females are just happen to be that much smarter than males. It's because the public education system have made it where they cater more to the female mindset or to female students more than male students. Where more and more programs where males usually thrive in are actually being taken away from the public education system due to your predominantly male politicians. And shout out to my boy, Mr. Research, right? Shout out to Mr. Research, man. Because me and Mr. Research would constantly talk about that. How, as males or as so-called black males, your true enemy in this system is a lot of these racist white male politicians in Congress and in your local state capitol buildings, who create these policies more and more to keep you disenfranchised. I mean, can someone say the 1994 crime bill, please? That affected a lot of so-called black males, and that kept a lot of so-called black males in prison for a very long time for non-violent offenses. Can someone say the Rockefeller drug laws, which was a policy passed by a predominantly white male white male politicians in the state of New York, that actually punished gave even longer, harsher punishments for, once again, for non-violent offenses, which affected mainly so-called black males living in the state of New York? Can we talk about stop and frisk? Okay, stop and frisk, which was once again another law passed by a predominantly white male politicians in the state of New York, where police or law enforcement in general had the right to actually search and seize people through something called not through probable cause, but through something called probable suspicion, where if a law enforcement officer is suspicious of someone committing a crime, then that automatically gave that law enforcement officer the right to check this person's pockets and all that other bullshit, which goes against a person's Fourth Amendment rights. And that law mainly affected black and Latino males, because there was a study that came out stating that when stop and frisk was legal in the state of New York, a study came out and stated that over 80% of people that was being frisked through stop and frisk were black and Latino males. See, these are the things we should be focused on as so-called black males. You do know, okay, you do know that Sigma American Arcana says, now that these policies are law, females will never vote them out of law. To tell you the truth, when it comes to a lot of laws, they can be voted out of law. They can be voted out. That's the thing. You guys assume that certain laws cannot be changed. I mean, do you know? Do you know how many laws got changed due to a minority of people advocating and fighting for these laws to be changed? I mean, we do have something called the Civil Rights Era, where due to the Civil Rights Era and the creation of the Civil Rights Bill of 1964, it destroyed a whole lot of the Jim Crow laws that existed across the southern United States. And if you think about it, the people that was involved in the civil rights movement was a small minority of Americans in comparison to the millions of Americans who did not take part of the civil rights movement. I mean, when you talk about the Jim Crow laws, it was a law across the South when it comes to segregating so-called blacks and whites. It was actual laws across different states. It was a law when it comes to, anti-miscegenation, where it was illegal for so-called blacks and whites to mingle interracially. It was law, and a small minority of Americans engaged in a movement called the Civil Rights Movement, and was able to draft a federal bill into law to make all these laws, all them little Jim Crow laws, now of ill effect all across the United States. It takes a small minority of people in order to change the laws around. Let's fast forward it. Let's fast forward the clock to 2015 when the Supreme Court came together and agreed to make gay and lesbian marriage legal all across the United States. You guys do know that the LGBTQ community compromises a very small amount of people in America. You know that, right? But this very small group of people in America was able to organize together and fight in the most powerful court in the United States and won that fight, thus making gay marriage legal all across the United States. And don't think that there was opposition, and don't think that there was opposition there to fight against that. And the opposition is usually a compromise of a majority, right? But the LGBTQ was still able to be victorious in the fight for gay and lesbian marriage. Yeah. And Brownsburg said morons so concerned with women ruining everything, they don't even realize that the percentage of women politicians in the USA is low. And yeah, that's true, Brownsburg. And not only that, but a lot of female politicians, people don't realize that a lot of female politicians do advocate for certain things that would help so-called black males. Look at the First Step Act. The First Step Act that Donald Trump signed into law back in 2017 and 2018, which made it illegal, which made it illegal for people to serve extremely high. Excuse me. I'm sorry. The First Step Act that was signed either 2017 or 2018 by Donald Trump when he was president officially made it illegal all across the United States to give people harsh sentences for non-violent offenses, right? Which helped a lot of so-called black males. Because a lot of so-called black males, like I said prior to this stream, like I said early in this stream, were victims of receiving long, harsh prison sentences for committing non-violent offenses, right? And guess what? A lot of female politicians supported the First Step Act. So it's like there are things that would benefit males, especially so-called black males, that females will support. So to make this assumption that for somehow females will vote against things that's going to benefit males, right? So someone can explain the First Step Act. I don't know how high gay divorce is. I don't know. Maybe it's high, maybe it's not. But there's a lot of money to be made if gay divorce is high. But the fact of the matter is that gay marriage, gay or lesbian marriage, would have never been legal in America if it wasn't for LGBTQ activists who fought in the highest courts of America to make gay and lesbian marriage legal. But to sit there and just assume that if males organize politically in order to if males or excuse me in order to make this assumption that if males organize politically in order to change certain laws around that would help the male gender would result in females voting against these things and going against these males is defeatist in itself. And that assumption in itself give females more power than they truly deserve. Because what you're doing is that you're discouraging any form of progress with the fear of females stopping it. Even though you motherfuckers have not done a thing to actually gain some sort of progress into fruition. But you decide to discourage that from actually happening by saying that, well, females are going to try to go against it anyway. When you do that, you're giving females more power than they truly deserve. You're discouraging any type of any hopes of males organizing politically and utilizing the political field to help open more doors for males in society by putting this fear that females are going to try to stop it. You give males online are giving or have given females more power than they truly deserve. And I'm to the belief that, let's say hypothetically speaking, right? Let's say if males, especially so-called black males, finally got their minds right, right? And they organized politically to become more politically active and engage in creating policies that would assist the male gender and that would help the male gender thrive, and that would help bring more of a balance of power between the two genders. If females respond by trying to vote against these things, then guess what? In my mind, is like, okay, let's play ball, and the best person wins. Fuck it. Even if females were to vote against these things, fuck it. Okay, then I guess it's war then. Fuck it. Let's play ball. I mean, that's how it is in politics, right? In politics, when one group advocate or move for a certain policy to be made into law, or for a certain bill to be made into law, a lot of times there's always an opposition that move against that. And what happens? Then shit. Now it's a war. Now it's a political war now. Now you have to outthink and out-strategize your opponent. And may the best one wins. So if males were to be more politically active, right? And actually dedicated into help changing laws that would bring a more equal balance of power between the two genders, and females try to move against that, then males would have to just engage in war. And when I mean war, I'm talking about political war. And just strategize to win this political game. That's it. The fuck? We got to stop. We got to stop with this mindset of thinking that someone, it doesn't matter what type of progress that we try to engage in, someone will always trying to stop us. If someone try to stop you from elevating, then your job is to put your foot up in their fucking ass. You a man, right? You a man, right? The fuck? What the hell? What the hell's going on, my? All right. So I'm done speaking. I'm done running my motherfucking mouth. I posted the link to the panel in the chat. For those of you who want to come up and speak, you can. Other than that, I'll just end the panel and get the fuck out and go about my own business. All right, so you guys not coming on? All right, peace. I'm out this motherfucker. You know. But before I officially leave, what I have to say is that you know a lot of you males online need to stop engaging in this banter in which you guys are always grifting about the opposite sex. You guys need to stop doing that. You're not accomplishing anything when you're doing that. And it's like when you do this, when you engage in this grifting and complain about the opposite sex, what you're really complaining about is, for the most part, how this bitch is not giving you no pussy. That's what it all comes down to. You know, a lot of the so-called criticisms that a lot of you males online have with females, it has nothing to do with anything outside of some pussy. Really. You know, when you guys critique females on some, well, she turned me down. She didn't like Pooh. She didn't like me. She preferred to be with Pookie and Ray Ray instead of me. You guys are not even critiquing females on a higher level, such as how females been socialized into viewing the male gender as their enemy, and how it's badly affecting them, the male gender, and the household as a whole, right? And the family structure as a whole. You're not talking about that. A lot of you rarely bring these things up. You know, a lot of you rarely bring up how females have been actually socially engineered to mistreat males when they're in relationships with them. And how that form of mistreatment even trickled down to females mistreating their own sons, right? A lot of you guys rarely speak about that. A lot of you guys rarely speak about the socio-political and the socio-economic effects that feminism plays in society. I mean, if you guys are going to sit there and critique the opposite gender, you guys should be critiquing them on that level. But no, a lot of you guys walk around and complain. You know, like the overall majority of the complaints that a lot of these males online have with females is how females have rejected them in the past, and how a lot of times they're still being rejected. You know, your complaints is how a lot of these toxic females that exist in society prefer to have relations with toxic males instead of the so-called good male, in which common sense would actually tell you that you shouldn't expect anything different from a toxic female. You shouldn't expect a toxic female to actually want a good, well balanced male as a partner in their lives. That common sense, man. It's so goddamn stupid. Oh, somebody sent me a cash app. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, yo, Diski Veli. Thank you for the cash app. I didn't even know someone sent me a cash app, man. Thank you for that. Yeah. All right, Diski Veli. Thank you for the cash app. Okay, I see Shaw Woolies in the backstage. I'm gonna bring Shaw Woolley out. Hey, what's going on?
Greetings, how are you?
I'm doing okay. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I actually was going to ask you what your Cash App was because I couldn't find it in the description and I would like to post it when I catch you live. Oh, and then I may have some internet issues, so if I drop out, that's why. That's the other thing I need to warn you about. Should have said that at first. Hey, JLJ, how are you? All right, I'll write that down and put that in my notes. Now I got it. Okay. And put that in my notes. Now I got it. Now, what I wanted to ask you was you had mentioned that it was a small amount of people that got together for the civil rights and also for gay rights. And I wanted to go back to the civil rights part. What um, small number would you say consider is small? Because I always kind of wondered about that.
That's a good question. I can't give you a number, but what I'm
Okay.
saying is that my whole point is that when you compare the number of people that were actually involved in the civil rights movement, I'm talking about they
Mhm.
were boots on the ground, active in comparison to the rest of society. The civil rights activists was a minority. Now, the numbers, I can't give you one.
Okay. Do you think it's all 50 states were involved? People from all 50 states?
I don't know. I don't know. That's once again, that's another good question. I don't know.
Hmm. Okay. And the reason I ask because, I hear people say a lot of things. I don't say anything, but sometimes I have questions and I'll wait a long time before I even ask because I found when I ask questions, it makes people angry. So I just kind of just sit back. And I heard a lot of talk about, a lot of stuff with, women this and women that. And I always wondered, I'm like, well, what is the number of people that got together to fight for whatever, the thing is? And so when you had brought up the fact that it's just a small amount of people for these particular acts, I said, oh, he may be the one I can ask. He might know that. He may, have the answer and I can, kind of correlate what I've been hearing. Because, not everything that someone says you have to believe, because a lot of people don't have any evidence. So I just wait a while, see if I can figure out, look up the information on my own. And if not, I get a chance to ask someone eventually.
Yeah. I don't, yeah. I can't get mad at people asking me questions. Like I don't get how people would be mad over a question.
Oh, trust me.
I don't I don't get mad. But
Yeah, I think people call it gaslighting or stuff like that, but that's not my intention. I just want to know the answer. And
okay.
sometimes people may just don't want to go into that. They just say, just listen to what I say and believe it and keep it moving. But sometimes if I can't put it together, I'll either try to research it on my own or wait later and then ask, well, what does this mean? Or where can I find this? And then that's when it seems the people get a little antsy.
Oh, okay, okay. And me, I don't act like that because you know, people have this thing where a lot of content creators have this thing where they don't like to feel as if someone is actually discrediting them,
Mm-hmm.
someone is exposing them or exposing their weakness. To them, they feel that that's a hurt to their ego. So when you ask a question, because I've been there too, where I've asked a simple question and people started screaming, you know, like I don't get that way. But what I do know, as far as like I said, I don't know the exact number as far as people within the civil rights movement, but I do know that they was outnumbered because whenever whenever you see clips of individuals marching or getting engaged in their boycotting, a lot of times, and I'm talking about real life footage.
Yes.
When you would see the opposition that would actually protest against them, or excuse me, or engage in counter protesting, you would see that the overall majority engage in the counter protesting. Well, where they hold a picket signs talking about blacks go back to Africa, you know, go home, all this other bullshit. So as far as the exact numbers are concerned, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm. Well, maybe one day I'll get that answer.
Okay. Mm-hmm. But it takes a small number of people to make change, though. That's all you had to say. Oh, I can't hear her. Okay, her internet connection is going bad. All right, so Shaw Willie, I can't hear you. I guess your internet connection is bad. All right, so all right, so Shaw, I'll throw you backstage. So what you can do, Shaw, is let me know, Shaw, if your internet connection is good. Let me know in the chat, and I'll hop you back in. But yeah, man, you throw somebody's well back to the point that I was talking about. When it comes to a lot of people critiquing the opposite sex, or a lot of males online critiquing the opposite sex, they out here for the most part, the majority of their criticisms is based around a group of toxic females rejecting them. I never got that. And someone in the comments section, I think it was Sim American Arcana, who said that I'm the first person that he heard when he said, okay, yeah, Sim American Arcana says, Wacky, you're the only one in 2022 out here saying that the females themselves are toxic, so why expect them to choose non-toxic men? Exactly. I mean, the fact that I'm the only one you heard say that, when that should be common sense among all males, is astonishing to me. I'm shocked by the fact that I'm the only guy you actually heard say that. That should be common sense to that should be common sense to almost everybody. You should not expect low quality females to desire to be with good males or quote unquote high quality males. As a matter of fact, high quality, morally upstanding, generally good males should view toxic females the same way toxic females view them. And that's with disgust. I mean, once again, Sigma American Arcana, I am shocked that I'm the only person that you heard say this. Because this should be common sense among all males. Hell, and females too. You know, it's like the old saying goes, birds of the same feather flock together. You have to automatically expect the, you know, toxic females to actually want to be with a Pookie or a Ray Ray or whatever you call them nowadays. Dollar Bills, JJ Peanut, Big Mac, whatever you want to call them, right? You should have that expectation. What's going on? Kevin Kelly, Brownsburg. Yeah, just asked Shaw. Yeah, no problem. You should have an expectation that once you see a female and you see that she's toxic, she's going all around, you know, twerking all up and down these TikTok videos. You know, she got them 3 feet long eyelashes. The fucking eyelashes longer than the fucking yardstick. This bitch got fucking tattoos from head to toe. She got tattoos all up in her face, all on her neck, all up and down her chest, her back. She got gold teethuses in her mouth. She got them gold teethuses in her mouth. You should automatically understand what type of males that she's into, and not only that, and what type of males she compliments. Because if you are a good male, you should not even desire something like that. The fuck? You know, motherfuckers, motherfuckers want these. Yo, man. Yeah, no, there are females out here who are wearing them gold teethuses, man. The grills. They got silver, gold, diamonds in their teeth. Yeah. They're wearing them gold teethuses, man. They got tattoos all up in their face and neck. Got tattoos all up and down their backs and stuff. Yeah. They're walking around with the same sundress on, with dirty flip flops, walking outside in the street. I mean, you should these are signs that you should automatically understand what type of you should automatically understand what category of males that these types of females are fit to be with. I don't get it. What's this thing with males being mad, with males online being upset at these types of females when these types of females ain't shit? Ain't shit bitches fuck with ain't shit niggas. But you guys go online and make these ridiculous panels and talk for hours and hours at a time complaining about these types of bitches. unless you're giving them more power than they truly deserve. Let me take this down. Oh, what's this guy's name? Oh, hold on. JLJ. Hold on. Okay, JLJ 504 HD. Thank you for your cash app. Yo, yeah, thank you, y'all, for your cash app. Yo, it's taking me a while to actually look at my phone to actually see who cash app me. But yeah. I know that's you. I know that's you. Yeah, thank you for your cash app. I appreciate that. And also, once again, Ski Valley, if you're still watching, thank you for your cash app also. Okay, so y'all not coming up. All right. I mean, the thing is that all right, it's 2022 in the Gregorian calendar, and pretty soon we're going to be headed to a new year. A new year is not that far from us. You do know that, right? We're in August, September, October, November, December. Okay, we only have 4 more months left to this year. Okay, this year's passing by fast as a motherfucker. We only have 4 more months left in this year, and afterwards we are heading to a new year. And we should not go into a new year. We should not be going to a new year with adult males complaining about a toxic group of females that they shouldn't be fucking with in the first place. That if we're going to speak about the male, if we're going to speak about the problems that male go through in society, let's speak about it from a socio-political and a socio-economic point of view. From a socio-political and a socio-economic point of view. Because those are the areas that we really need to focus on, because those are areas that have caused the black male collective to end up in the lowest level of all people of all areas of people activity. The socio-economic and the socio-political issue that males have gone through is the reason why male homelessness is at an all-time high, right? The socio-economic and the socio-political issues that males go through is one of the biggest reasons why the so-called black males have the highest unemployment rate in America. One of the reasons why. The socio-political, the socio-economic, and the socio-political issues that males face in American society is one of the reasons why that males, for the most part, and a lot of males end up like Brian Banks and end up going to prison for crimes that they did not commit. The socio-political and the socio-economic issues that males go through in society is one of the reasons why in states like, I think, Oklahoma and other states, where males can actually pay child support to children that are not even biologically theirs. See, these are systematic issues that males suffer from. And it's done through decades and decades and decades of males actually being negated by the same system that we pay taxes to, because for so long, what happened is, for so ever since the ever since post second wave of feminism, American society or Western society have been so focused on what they can do to improve things for women, what they can do to improve things for so the female gender can be able to operate in society without having to feel that they being disenfranchised. So society has been so focused on what to do to cater to females, to practice so-called equal rights for females, to the point that over time, more and more females were actually being given advantages in society, and males have been given less and less advantages in society. Thus, females over time end up having more benefits in society than males, thus causing an imbalance of power. So if males online is really about this red pill shit that they claim to be about, then they should be focused on that. Right, degenerate, right. The poverty rate is going higher and higher. We are potentially maybe going into war. We got another potential virus pandemic. You also got major cities going down the shitter, and motherfuckers are still talking about hoes. That's true. That's absolutely true. But anyhow, that's all I have to say concerning this. All right, I'm out of here, man. Okay, hold on. Before I'm out of here, okay, Brownsburg said a couple of things. He said Brownsburg said he was respond. Brownsburg was responding to degenerate sharing when he said this. He said, "My city feels the brunt of it profusely. Ironically, there's a beef about bringing migrants over here from Texas. Uh, you know, Wuhan got a new strain, and this monkeypox stint. Yeah." And Brownsburg also said that red pill is beyond dating. That's what peeps don't get. It's awareness about the word in general. Exactly, Brownsburg. Exactly. Yeah, Kevin Kelly. Yeah, he said those niggas talking about women are mainly niggas who have no woman. Right, right, man. But anyhow, that's all I have to say concerning this talk, concerning this whole thing, man. You know, the more males, the more males go online and grift about females and grift about the female gender instead of grifting or actually talking about the societal and systematic issues that males go through, the more they putting females on a pedestal, and the more they're giving, the more power that these males online give to females when they keep complaining about them. They're giving females more power than they deserve. You know, sitting there talking about, well, these females are our opponents. These females are our opponents. They're trying to take our jobs. They're trying to take our families. Stop placing these females in a boogeyman position. All right? Stop trying to make a boogeyman out of these females. All right? Trying to create some sort of mythological, some fucking, You're trying to give some sort of mythological mystique about these fucking females. Get out of here with that. Come on, man. If you're really about actually, if you're really about actually helping the male gender uh, succeed in society, if you're really about actually helping the male gender progress in society, what you should be focused on is changing a lot of these laws that we have in society, man. And to sit there and assume that females will just automatically fight to change these laws is another way of giving them more power than they truly deserve. Because once again, you what you're actually doing is promoting a fear of what females are going to do if you, as a fucking man, choose to stand up and be politically active in making sure you have more rights in society. Get out of here with that. And even if females would respond, okay, let's, like I said before in this live stream, let's just say if males come together and actually engage in being politically active and actually focus on changing laws in society that would actually improve the condition of male society. If females do come together and fight against it, then guess what? Man, the best person wins. The mentality of you as a male in that predicament should be, okay, I'm going to roll my sleeves up and we're going to get rough and dirty and we're going to fight. Of course, fight politically, that is. Fuck it. That's how the game of life goes, man. If you want to achieve something, someone will always try to be in the way trying to stop you from doing it, from achieving that, whatever it is. And so in that predicament, your job is to be a fighter. Tie your boots on, roll your sleeves up, and get down and dirty and fight for what you want, man. That's how the world is. Be a man for once in your pathetic lives. Motherfucker.